Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? We got some work to do now. Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? We need some help from you now. Come on, Scooby-Doo, I see you, pretending you got a sliver. You're not fooling me, 'cause I can see the way you shake and shiver. You know we got a mystery to solve, so Scooby-Doo, be ready for your act. Don't hold back. And Scooby-Doo, if you come through, you're gonna have yourself a Scooby snack. That's a fact. Scooby-Dooby-Doo, here are you. You're ready and you're willing. We can count on you, Scooby-Doo. I know we'll catch that villain.
Jinkies! Jeepers!
Zoinks! Come on, gang. Let's split up and look for more clues.
2019 marks the 50th anniversary of Scooby-Doo. The franchise has changed quite a bit over the years, but it has managed to retain the spirit of what made it great in the first place.
And the reason why it's got this far is because it appeals more to kids. So in each time, it's always gone to, and each time kids are born. So you'll see it, and kids will probably like it. There'll be a decent amount of people that will actually like it. However, that's not always the case, and obviously a lot of people grow up still loving it, and that has also increased it by the popularity, and not just kids. I think last year it became even more popular with the Shaggy meme. I believe it was either last year or the last year before, but everyone was liking it. Everyone was making memes out of it. It was really good, and I believe that's why it became popular. It's still popular.
16 television shows, 38 movies, 25 video games. So it's pretty fair to say that there's quite a lot of Scooby-Doo to go around. But where did it all start? Well, in 1968, the head of daytime programming for CBS, Fred Silverman, was the mind behind the original idea for Scooby-Doo. However, he just came up with the initial idea, as he had no idea how to make cartoons. At the time, Hanna-Barbera Productions made one of the most popular cartoons, The Flintstones, but they've had a long history with animation prior to this. They even created Tom and Jerry, so naturally, Fred went to the producers, William Hanna and Joseph Barbera, to put forward this idea to them. The team of writers at the studio, which was led by Joe Ruby and Ken Spears, came up with a show called Mysteries 5. The series was about 5 teenagers and their shaggy dog, who was named Too Much. This interesting concept of the gang would have had them be musicians, with Too Much playing the bongos. However, when the night came, they would have solved spooky mysteries featuring ghosts and ghouls. However, Fred Silverman wasn't a big fan of this idea. He did like the mystery and even the music, but not the characters, so they worked together to change them. They cut down the number of teenagers to 4, Fred, Daphne, Velma and Shaggy, and they changed the sheepdog to a Great Dane. However, when Mr. Silverman presented this idea to CBS, they feared the show would be too scary for little kids, due to the actions of a group called Action for Children's Television. So unfortunately, they said no to this idea. It was back to the drawing board for Fred, Joe Ruby and Ken Spears. This time, however, they got it right. Their new idea still featured spooky ghosts and monsters, but they were fake, as at the end of each episode it would be revealed that they were just a bad guy in a mask. They also completely dropped the rock band idea and made the characters much funnier, especially the dog. CBS agreed, and Scooby-Doo Where Are You was born, and of course, so was its catchy theme song. Ryu Takemoto, a character designer at Hanna-Barbera, was the one who gave Scooby-Doo his look. A woman that he worked with owned a few Great Danes. When Ryu asked what the perfect Great Dane looked like, she told him they have strong chins, straight ears and long legs. Ryu knew that Scoob had to look like a big scaredy cat, so he drew the exact opposite of what she described. Droopy ears, small chin and crooked legs. He made sure to give him an expressive face too. They got voice actor Don Messick to voice the kooky canine. He previously voiced characters such as Astro from the Jetsons. He made Scooby-Doo sound like a human who had lots of woofs and barks stuck in his mouth.
Don Messick did the voice of Scooby-Doo, originated it, and Don was just brilliant at breathing life into that character.
With Don Messick, he would simplify it with, well, it's a dog, and there are different types of dogs, and he was given an idea of what the dog's personality was like.
Well, I think Don got into the psyche of an animal. It was very much like Scooby-Doo. That dog was alive, and it was a being, a human being.
Scooby-Doo!
Do I get a Scooby snack? We'll look for one after we're off the camera here. Okay. Scooby-Dooby-Doo.
The name Scooby-Doo came from the end of a Frank Sinatra song, Strangers in the Night, where he says Scooby-Doo. They changed it to Scooby-Doo. Fred Silverman thought it was the perfect name. But what about the teen detectives themselves? Fred Jones Jr. This blonde, ascot-wearing teen is the gang's leader and driver of the Mystery Machine. You can always rely on him to guide the gang the right way and to always build the right trap. Voice actor Frank Welker has been voicing him since the beginning.
The way that I got the part for Freddy, I was doing a stand-up routine, and within this routine, I did like a dog and cat fight, a lot of, And this executive said, we're doing a show called Scooby-Doo, and there's a dog, why don't you come in and audition for Scooby-Doo? And I said, great. So I went over there and I got the script and I saw Shaggy. This is me. Funny character, and I'm always playing the straight guys. And so I sit down and meet Casey, and he's just fantastic. I said, well, what part are you reading for? And he says, oh, I'm reading for Shaggy, and I want to read for Freddy.
We ended up getting the exact opposite parts. I ended up with Freddy, he ended up with Shaggy, which he was fantastic at. But how I came up with that voice was basically, it's my own voice with maybe 5 cups of coffee. Hey, would you do it for a Scooby snack? Oh gosh, well come on guys. Hey, I can drive because I have the license.
Hey, there it is, gang. Franken Castle. It's the only castle ever imported stone by stone from Transylvania.
Daphne Blake. She loves fashion and of course a good mystery. She's the heart of Mystery Inc., always managing to find the right clues. Daphne is usually one to give out Scooby snacks. Although she is the clumsiest, that doesn't stop her determination. Indira Stefiana was the original voice actor of Daphne. However, she only stayed for the first season of Where Are You? Heather North took over in season 2 and continued to voice Daphne until the 90s, but it came back for the film Scooby-Doo and the Legend of the Vampire, Scooby-Doo and the Monster of Mexico.
I wonder who this creepy hunk of tin belongs to.
Nicole, Jaffe, David was my roommate and said, get in here. They're looking for Daphne. You can do Daphne.
So when the other girl left, I called Heather and I said, come down right away and audition for this because I think you'd be terrific.
I didn't always listen to her, but for this I did. And I auditioned and got the part.
And that was my first job as an agent, was getting her this.
This creepy shortcut you're taking, Freddy, gives me the chills.
Velma Dinkley. She is the brains of the group. Make sure she doesn't lose her glasses. She's a quick thinker. Most of the time, Velma is the one to piece the mystery together. Nicole Jaffe was the original voice of Velma. After the new Scooby-Doo movies, Nicole stopped voicing Velma, but she came back for the film Scooby-Doo and the Legend of the Vampire and Scooby-Doo and the Monster of Mexico.
They showed me a picture of Velma, and I realized that she looked a lot like me, except she didn't dye her hair. But basically, I looked a lot like the picture.
Very funny.
It was not my real voice, but it wasn't that far away. Velma lisps, I lisp. Velma has kind of a slightly kooky voice. I guess my voice is slightly kooky. I think my character set a good example for girls. They didn't have to follow around. They could lead. They could have the ideas. That's what I always liked about my character.
That's why they had to get rid of the professor. He was the only one who could have spotted the fakes.
Norville Shaggy Rogers, Scooby-Doo's scruffy, food-loving best friend. Norville, or Shaggy as he is commonly known, is usually the last person to want to solve a mystery. He's too busy eating and being scared. But he and Scooby always manage to find clues and, of course, be the bait for Fred's trap. Casey Kasem was the original voice of Shaggy. However, in 1995, when Casey was asked to voice Shaggy for a Burger King commercial. He turned it down as he was a strict vegetarian. Luckily, he came back in 2002 when the creators agreed to make Shaggy a vegan, and stayed to voice him until 2009 when he retired.
The character I wanted to do was Fred, and so they said, no, we'd like you to read the other character, Shaggy. I said, oh, okay, well, what is it you want? And he said, well, come up with something, and what I came up with was, Scoobo, buddy, old friend, old pal, it's me, your friend Shaggy.
What a nervous night to be walking home from the movies, Scooby-Doo. And all because you had to stay and see Star, Dog Ranger of the North Woods, twice.
Called me back 3 times, and the third time, apparently they saw what they liked, and so they hired me.
Maybe my ventriloquism bit can get us out of this jam.
In the mid-1970s, Hanna-Barbera felt Scooby-Doo needed a fresh element added to it. The first attempt was a character called Scooby-Doo, who was Scooby-Doo's cousin. Unfortunately, he did not last very long, only appearing in a couple of episodes of The Scooby-Doo Show and even one episode of Scooby's All-Star Laugh Olympics. He was voiced by Dawes Butler. It was then decided to create a new Scooby series, which would feature another new character, who was Scooby's nephew, Scrappy-Doo. Scrappy was a small puppy dog, and unlike his uncle, actually wanted to fight the monsters, often shouting his catchphrase, "Puppy power!" Scrappy was in the franchise for quite a while, including the movies Scooby-Doo Meets the Boo Brothers, Scooby-Doo and the Ghoul School, and Scooby-Doo and the Reluctant Werewolf, and the TV shows The Scooby-Doo and Scrappy-Doo Show, The New Scooby-Doo Mysteries, and The 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo, which also features the legendary horror actor Vincent Price. In the late 1980s, there was a trend of making younger versions of established characters, such as the Muppet Babies. So Hanna-Barbera added to this by creating the series A Pup Named Scooby-Doo. The series starred Carl Steven as Fred, Kelly Martin as Daphne, Christina Lang as Velma, Casey Kasem as Shaggy, and Don Messick as Scooby. This was the last series in the classic run of Scooby-Doo, and the last series until 2002. The show was about the gang in their younger days. The series didn't even have a mystery machine. Sadly, Casey and Don only worked on one more Scooby project together, which was the movie Scooby-Doo in Arabian Nights. Don Messick sadly passed away in 1997. 1 year later, the Scooby franchise returned with a bang. 1998 brought us the fan favourite film, Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island, which was much darker than any Scooby iteration that came before it. It stars Frank Welker as Fred, Mary Kay Bergman as Daphne, B.J. Ward as Velma, Scott Innes as Scooby, and Billy West as Shaggy. Thanks to this very film, the franchise came back into popularity again, and they've been producing Scooby films ever since. In 2002, the first of 5 live-action movies was made. Thanks to its popularity, it allowed a new Scooby-Doo series to be created, What's New Scooby-Doo? It was an attempt to bring Scooby-Doo into the modern day. The series stars Frank Welker as both Fred and Scooby-Doo, Casey Kasem as Shaggy, Ray Griffin as Daphne, Mindy Cohen as Velma. This series was incredibly popular and brought the franchise back to TV. They haven't stopped producing Scooby shows ever since. The current series, Scooby-Doo and Guess Who, is still going and is going to be releasing more episodes in the future. So what does this future hold for Scooby-Doo? Well, in 2020, not only will we be getting 2 more DVD films, but a brand new theatrical release movie too, Scoob. It is set to be released 15th of May 2020. It stars Zac Efron as the voice of Fred, Amanda Seyfried as Daphne, Gina Rodriguez as Velma, Will Forte as Shaggy, and Frank Welker as Scooby-Doo. It is fair to say the franchise has a long and bright future ahead of it. Here's to 50 more years of Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo!